Hello and welcome to our live stream. It's Tulip season here at OllyGarden. It is the 13th of May today. It's 15:03 here in Germany, here in Berlin, and it's a sunny day. It was very rainy this morning, but I'm very happy that it's now tulip season. It's tulip weather outside. And Today, so this week we are launching the first TLS version of Tulip. This is the third version of Tulip. The first version of Tulip that we had was in November last year, and then we had one, I think it was in February or March this year, and I think it was March really. And now we are in May, and we are launching the first LTS version of Tulip. So for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to talk a little bit more about what is Tulip, why Tulip exists, and how to get started with Tulip. All right, so if you have any questions, type in your questions here in the chat, and I'll make sure to answer you in there. All right, cool. So for those who are live, thank you very much for joining the session here live. For those who are watching the replay, hello to you too. Right, okay, so the chat is open. I'll be watching that. So if anything is unclear, just tell me. And if something is broken on the screen, also let me know. This is a live demo, and live demos, they do misbehave sometimes, right? So this is the real thing. Okay, cool. All right, so let me set the stage here. So the upstream OpenTelemetry Collector. It is a fantastic project. I'm very proud to have been a maintainer or a contributor to the collector for so long, and for creating some components there that are still widely used out there. And new components, they arrive, existing components evolve, and the surface area for the collector contrib, at least, it keeps expanding. Right, so for the project, the cadence is healthy. It is what we want to do. Right? We want the project to be healthy, to be always evolving. But for a platform team that is running thousands of collectors across hundreds of clusters, that cadence, it is a tax. And I want to share a few numbers with you from conversations that we had over the past few months. I've been collecting those stories, and I've been using those stories when talking about OpenTelemetry with folks. And here's a couple of those. Right. So a platform team at a large automotive manufacturer is running collectors, or were. I hope that they changed now, but they were running collectors that were 25 versions behind upstream. Right. So 25 versions. We have a new version every 2 weeks. So that means multiply that 25 by 2, and then we have 50 weeks or so. So that's 1 year old collectors. A payments and financial services company, they did a single upgrade, and that jumped 20 versions and triggered a stability incident. Those are real cases. Those are real situations I heard from platform engineers at those companies. And perhaps a third one is a grocery retailer. They're operating a 850 node Kubernetes cluster, and they told us in their own words, we cannot keep the pace, the cadence of the project. Like it is every 2 weeks, new versions. How do you manage? How do you upgrade 850 nodes, the whole fleet of collectors for a cluster that size? It's just it's very hard. Now, those are not edge cases. Right? So automotive, financial services, retail, those are 3 different industries, but the same pain. And this is the median experience of running OTel collectors at scale today. We hear that over and over. There is a second problem, though, and it is harder to talk about that because nobody really likes to admit it out loud. But when something breaks in your collector fleet at 3 a.m. in the morning, there's nobody to call. Right, so the upstream product has maintainers. Of course, we don't have maintainers there, but the maintainers, they are not on support contract, so you cannot just call a maintainer and say, fix it for me. Vendor distributions, they do exist, but they ship the components that the vendor cares about, not the ones that you actually need, or perhaps you need something more than that. Perhaps you need some custom components, or perhaps there's more to the distribution than you actually need. And of course, what end up ends up happening is the enterprise platform teams, they build their own distributions using OCB, using OpenTelemetry Collector Builder. And when that distribution breaks, the buck stops with them. So they base their distributions on upstream collector. So whenever anything fails, they have to fix it on their own. This is the gap that Tulip that Tulip fills, right? So we are not replacing the upstream collector, not at all. We are running alongside it with a different release contract, right? So we provide quarterly stable releases for teams that want to keep moving. And now with a 2605, an 18 months long-term support release for teams that need to stop moving for a while and let the rest of the stack catch up. So this is what Tulip really is. Let me show you what 2605 actually contains. And to be clear, Tulip is, we support not only the binary, the containers. I'm going to show you what is actually Tulip, but we support also the manifest. I like to say that Tulip is the product that I wanted to create a few lives ago. It is a product that is centered around the manifest. So you declare a manifest file. You declare, here's my manifest. Here's the thing that I want to run, and we tell you those are the things, the components in your manifest that we support. If you find a problem in any one of those, we support you. So it's not only about the binary or the container image, it is really about the manifest file. Of course, one of the outputs of the manifest file is a binary, is a container. So of course, we do provide those. We do support them. But more than that, what we see quite often is teams, they build their own components, their own distributions, their own processors, connectors, and so on. And whenever they do that, they don't get support from their vendors anymore. They don't get support from the people they are paying already a lot of money for the backend. They just go to them and say, well, you're not using my binary, so you're not supported. A concrete case that I heard some months ago was from a company that they have a good observability spending. They are customers of perhaps 3 of the big 4 backends. And they might have an agent or a collector of a distribution or a vendor collector on their platforms, on their Kubernetes clusters, and they are sending data to 2 different backends. Now, with that agent sending to another backend, whenever it fails, they don't get support. So the backend tells them, you are not using my agent, you are not using my collector, I cannot support you. And then when they go to the provider of the agent, of the collector, they say, I cannot support you because you're not sending me data, you're sending data to somebody else. I don't support that use case. So that's one thing that we support with Tulip. Tulip is a collector that we support, and it runs on your collection side. So we support only the collection side. It is not tied to a specific backend. If you have Tulip, and if you have a problem sending data from your machines, from your pipeline to any backend that supports OTLP, then we support you. Then we call them and we say, this is wrong, or there is a memory leak here, or we fix it for you. Right? Of course, if the problem is at the backend, nothing we can do, but we support that pipe, that connection, and we are happy to pick up the phone and answer you. All right, so let me show you then. So this is what we are. So this is one of the value propositions that we have for Tulip. One, it is detached from the backend. So we provide you support. We are not the backend, and we support the collector that is running there. The second thing is we support the manifest file. We support the thing that you care the most. I'm going to show you what we support. So here's Tulip. Let me see if I can share my screen, because I don't see my screen being shared here. Let's try it out. Oh, there, where is it? Oh, there you go. Of course it is here. Cool. All right. So I hope that you can see my screen now. If anyone could give me a confirmation here in the chat. But this is the repository for Tulip. So Tulip is open source. Of course, it is open source. It is derived from OpenTelemetry Collector. Right now we are basing our Tulip on the let's take a look here, on the V151 version of the collector. So the way that it works is we publish for every single version of Tulip, we publish this manifest file. So what you do is you either get our binaries, our images, and you run it. And if this image here is sufficient to you, then you should definitely use this one. But if there is anything that you don't need, or if there is anything that you need that is not here, then you create a derived distribution of that. I'm going to show you how to do that. And we support the things that are here. We don't support the things that you bring in, like your custom components. We don't support them, or the components that you're bringing from Contrib, for instance. We don't support them, but we do support everything that is in here. Cool. All right. So what is going on here? So we list the extensions. For people who build their own distributions, this format here is simple. It is, you know what it is. It is a OpenTelemetry Collector distribution manifest, and it contains first a block for the metadata of the distribution itself. So what is the module name? What is that? So this is a Tulip, and this is the name of the distribution is Tulip. This is the description. So OllyGarden Tulip, enterprise supported, OpenTelemetry Collector distribution, the version, and so on and so forth. And then we have a list of extensions. Those are the extensions that we support. We support file storage, OIDC, auth, some other auth extensions as well as pprof and zpages. We also support receivers, like the not receiver. This is useful for testing, so of course we are supporting that. The code for that, very simple, so yeah, of course, why not support it? And then OTLP receiver, host metrics receiver, and file log receiver. So those are things that we are doing now in Tulip, because we heard that file log receiver is something that people need support, and we are happy to support that based on our experiences with that. And then the debug exporter is there. Of course, it is meant for debugging. This is why it's bug process exporter, but it's there. Nope, the no operations exporter, so it's just also for testing or for building collectors, making sure that your component is running. So you need an op exporter there for testing purposes. But then, of course, for real, the OTLP exporter, the OTLP HTTP exporter, and the file exporter. Cool. And then we removed batch processor. So we removed it for LTS because if you've seen the news in the collector, we have now support for batch sending queues within exporters, within most of the exporters. So, and the batch processor is being deprecated. We are not ready to support the batch processor for 18 months because it is being deprecated already right now, right? So instead, we are supporting the batching sending queues within the exporters themselves. So that's why we removed. And see more docs here on how to do the upgrade. It's very easy. Here's migration plan. And then in terms of processors, those are the processors that we support. So attributes processor, resource. I know that the resource processors, attributes processor, they're also going to be deprecated in favor of the transform processor. But we are happy to support the current versions of those because they're so used out there. So because of the legacy workloads, we're happy to keep supporting that for 18 months. But then also probabilistic sampler, span processor, redaction processor, and the filter processor. Forward connector, and a few environment providers. That's it. That's what we support in terms of Tulip. All right, so that's one thing that I wanted to show you. So this is what we are supporting. And the long-term support commitment is, again, 18 months. All right, so concretely, that means that the V2605 branch, we receive backported security fixes and critical bug fixes through November 2027. So when a CVE drops against a component that in the supported manifest, we are going to backport the fixes to our users, to our customers. And when a critical functional bug is identified, we also evaluate it for the backporting, right? So if it is hitting you as a customer of OllyGarden, you can tell us, I've been hit by this bug here. Please go there and fix it, and we're going to fix it. Of course, those are all detailed in our support policy. We have a threshold for what is supported. We backport those fixes. The whole idea is, if you are being blocked by any bugs upstream, and that bug has been fixed, we are going to backport it for you. and nothing else changes in your collector. That's the whole point. Nothing. So you can. It is guaranteed that the config that you have for your collector is still going to work. It is guaranteed that the telemetry that you have for your collector is still going to be the same. Unless, of course, the problem is in telemetry itself, but we're going to talk about that later. Cool. All right. So deployment is container first. Of course, we have an image that is published. It is signed, and for environments where containers are not the right answer, we also have a few other packages that you can ask. And one last note before we go to the terminal, so Tulip is derived from OpenTelemetry Collector, so it is licensed under Apache 2 license. It is the same license as upstream. There's no copyleft trap, no source available but not really clause, nothing like that, no shifting commitment over time. It is, for any reason you stop being a customer, the binaries that you have already deployed are still yours under your terms, so you can keep using that. It is as easy as the collector as well, right? So the collector, you get the same features, the same kind of feeling, just without the support. Cool. All right. So this is what we have. What we are going to do here is I'm going to show you how to do a downstream distribution of the collector, or in this case of Tulip. And what I'm going to show you, there you go. I'm going to show you time. So some of you might have seen time. So time is a distribution that we built for a specific POV here at OllyGarden, a specific POC. So we've shown them a few months ago. So the question was that company was using another collector, or another, I should say, log collection mechanism written in Rust, and they had some issues with that specific software, and the problem they were having is, like, it is open source, of course it is, but nobody in the team knows Rust that well. So they cannot just go there and fix their problems. They were having a specific problem that they couldn't really point out what is going on, why it is happening this way. So they are considering moving from that one to OpenTelemetry Collector. The concern was, is the collector capable of doing the same kind of load or handling the same kind of load as that software that they had running? So the question they had was, so we have, or the requirements were, we have 35,000 logs per second per node being emitted at the moment, with bursts to 50K logs per second per node. So can the collector, OpenTelemetry Collector, process or handle that kind of load, potentially with spikes to, I don't know, 100K? And that was the reason for the experimentation. So we experimented with a specific configs for the collector. We built different versions of it, and we came up with a time. So time is this experiment. So time is a Tulip-based OpenTelemetry Collector distribution optimized for high throughput log processing. So what it means is, let's open the config here for time. So it contains OTLP receiver and the file log receiver. So we receive logs from that specific node from using the file log receiver, and that's pretty much it, right? And then it exports OTLP, HTTP. So it is basically the previous version. It is using the previous version of Tulip as a base. Just to give you an idea, the whole repository here contains the recipes to deploy. So how do we deploy it? We deploy using Kubernetes 134 in EU Central 1 of EKS, 3 times M6, I 2 times large. So this is the very specific scenario for that specific company, and they told us with this configuration, it should reach at least 35,000 logs per second. And I think we have the results of the benchmark here somewhere. So the benchmark, yeah, where is it? Anyway, so the results are somewhere here. We achieved that goal. We've shown that the collector can indeed sustain that load. I cannot find the benchmark here right now, but you can go there and see what is the result. Anyway, the point is there is a manifest file, and this is the manifest file for a distribution that is downstream to Tulip. This is your distribution, right? So in your case, in your company, in your repositories, you'd be having something that is very, very similar to time. So if you need a blueprint to get started, just clone or just copy the time repository and copy the things that we have there oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong window. Okay, so here we have those examples. We have a Docker file, we have the make file that shows how to do the compilation, the configuration. So on make file, we have make the distributions, make time, basically. And then within the distributions time, we have a make file here that shows how to do things. So how to install OCB. So we are installing the previous version of Tulip, and so on and so forth. Now let me show you then my Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to show you how to migrate from the previous Tulip to the new one. Cool. All right. So I think I have my Visual Studio Code here. Let me see if I can share that window. Window there. Okay, there you go. Cool. I think this is the one. Let's see if this is the one. I think it might be. Let me see. Yes, there you go. Cool. All right. So just before we went live, just before, and then it took some minutes. I ran a make build. So this is the current state of main. So this is if you just clone time and run make build, this is what you are supposed to see. Of course, it took only a few seconds on my machine because I had a build from the other day already. And so this is the previous version. This is the version that we had up until the beginning of May, or just before the beginning of May. Now, what we're going to do here is I open Claude Code, and I asked Claude a few minutes ago, Claude, let's bump time. Let's change the version. So let me go to the beginning. So let's update time to align with the latest Tulip from, and then the repository, right? So it did all the things that it needed to do. So I like to do things at work trees. So it opened a work tree there, and then it basically got all the things from Tulip. It found my Tulip locally. Saw what are the things that we have there, and then it bumped the versions for me. So the 151, which is the current version of Tulip, this is the current version of the components that Tulip uses. We have it here, and then we just really had Claude to do the migration from, or the update from Tulip from February to Tulip from right now. All right, so OCB stays the same, and so on and so forth. What we can do then is we just run then make, right? So then there you go. So there it is. So what we can do here is we go to the Claude work trees, this, and then we just do make build. And there you go. So we have now a new distribution, so 151.0 of time, and that is based on Tulip. So what it means is whenever we find a bug in any components that we use from Tulip, we can call OllyGarden and have them fix it for us, have it backported for us. All right, so this is it. Like, this is all that it takes to move from one time to another, to move time from one version to another of Tulip. All right, let me stop here then the screen share. And talk a little bit about the support. How do I stop that now? There, cool, stop. Okay, cool. All right, now, there it is. So support tiers. So what do we have in terms of support? We offer 2 tiers. The first one is standard support, and that is for $4.99 a month, billed annually. Right, so it's just under $6,000 or so a year, very cheap. So, and it comes with a 3 business day first response on tickets, access to backport fixes, and the full LTS commitment for the duration of your contract. Right, so as long as you have your contract with us, we support your LTS version. So up to 18 months for this version. Next year, so after 12 months. We are going to release the next TLS version of Tulip, and that gives you a 6 months transition period from one LTS to another. Enterprise support is a custom contract. and it adds a named support engineer who knows your environment and a 1 business day first response. So whenever you send us a message, in 1 business day, we get back to you and say, you know what, here's the problem, so we are fixing, or can you send us more information? So this is the first response. Procurement-friendly terms and the option to bundle in professional services. So this is one thing that we are doing with a few companies out there. They need some time implementing, they need some help implementing this change here in their environments. We are happy to support them with a few professional services hours as well. Most of the enterprise customers that we are signing this quarter, they include some combination of fleet review hours, principal engineer hours, and training seats for the platform team. So because we're so close to Telemetry drops, we are also happy to bundle the offers together. So if you need training for your team when it comes to OpenTelemetry, collectors and so on, we can give that to you as well. Cool. Now, if you're running a meaningful collector fleet and you are evaluating support options, the page to read is OllyGarden/Tulip, and the component manifest is published on the GitHub repository that I've shown you. So go there and see the full list of the components there, even though we actually went through all of the change, all of the components there. All right, cool. So I think this is my wrap up. Let me open LinkedIn because I think I don't see the comments from LinkedIn here, and nobody watching on YouTube actually asked any questions. So let me see if we have any questions there. There it is. And there. Okay, now I hope that I don't hear the sound from LinkedIn here. And mute. Cool. All right. So no, we don't have any comments there as far as I can see. And if you do have any questions, if you do have anything that you need clarified, then you know where to find me. Yeah, you can ping me whenever whenever I am. So I'm at the CNCF Slack. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm available as well as at judac@OllyGarden.com. Send me a message. In any one of those 3 channels, I'll be more than happy to answer you and support you in your journey. There it is. So it's tulip season here at OllyGarden. Thank you for watching live. The replay will be on the channel on YouTube and here on LinkedIn or whatever you are watching right now. And don't forget to follow and subscribe. So follow the page on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube if you want to catch the next one. We'll be back in a few weeks with another live stream from OllyGarden. So see you.